Hey, welcome to Facebook, welcome to YouTube, and let's get Instagram fired up right here. Boom, we're live. Welcome to Wise Advice episode 222, a show about you where we talk about what's going on in your world. As you know, rocking the program, lost a ton of weight, maintaining it, happy, healthy, and just getting it done. So let's check in here. We'll do a live show in about 10 minutes or so. Just want to make sure everyone's here, gets in, gets settled. Stella joining first, Heather joining in second over on Facebook. Good evening to all of you. Leah's here, so we can begin. That always is good. Lisa checks in, Franny checks in, Marsha's over there on Instagram, Margie's here, Colette checking in from Long Island. Always good to see all of you guys here on a Friday night, nonetheless. Renee from Lake Elsinore, California, good evening to you. Lori says hey. Melissa's here from Minneapolis. Betty says hello from Idaho over on YouTube. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So kind of a rare Friday night. Last night just did not happen. By the time I finally got settled, it was close to 10 o'clock. So it was like, yeah, let's just reschedule. Marilyn checks in from Ohio. Good evening to you. Let's see who else we have. Jan is here. Good evening from Illinois. We have Heather. I got you. I think I got everyone. Vicky is here from Michigan. Mississippi checks in. Heather is in. Batesville, Indiana. Angela checks in. Amy from Connecticut. Good evening to you. Allison from Florida. Good evening. Keith is here out of New York City. Good to see you always, sir, on a wonderful Friday night. Wendy checking in from Missouri. Wendy, we'll see you in like a month, right? Very cool. Very wet North Texas. Glenda checks in. Rock Hill, South Carolina. Jeff is here. Dina's here from the southern tip of Indiana. Franny says it's nice everywhere except for it's a nice evening here. Sorry, it says nice evening here in Eastern Washington. Let's go for a walk. Okay, let's do it. We're going to be for about an hour. Julie checking in from Naperville. Napanee. Sorry, I got that wrong. Julie checking in from Napanee. Connie, first time here. Woohoo! We ring a bell up. Thanks, Colette. So I was running a little behind today. So let's flip my flag on Facebook. My Facebook app rebooted just before. There we go. Just before we got going, Facebook decided it was going to reboot. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to where I was. So thanks, Colette, for that. Donna is checking in from Kentucky. Good evening to you. Joanne is here. Liz says hello. Lisa says you walked 4.26 miles today. 9,100 steps. Very, very cool. The Seymour comment still does not work. Diane from Maryland, good evening. Julie from Michigan, good evening to you. Debbie from Texas, good evening. Jan's here. Melissa says, thank you for making it happen tonight, Mike. I really need you all tonight. Very cool. You know, I feel that way too. You know, it's one of those, this community thing that we've done. I mean, I get it. When I'm not on, it's difficult for me as well. So, but I mean, just the logistics of doing this, you know, all the time it's painful for me because it's the one thing I enjoy the most out of my day. And it's often the last thing that gets done. So by the time I get to the computer and get to get everything done, it's like, I mean, I'm spent. And sometimes it's tough, but I wish I could make this my first thing of my day because that's where it is on the priority scale. So, whew, always good. So let's see. Barbara from Atlanta is checking in on YouTube. Good evening to you. Bloomington, Patricia's here. Travis is from Missouri. Good evening. Deborah, hello. Amy says she liked Keith's blog today. I did too. Marianne says, good evening, long time. Good evening for sure. Carolyn from Noblesville, not too far away. Lisa, Rock Hill. Hi, Rock Hill from Concord, North Carolina. I got it. Let's see. Vicky's here. Jay, woo woo. Good evening to Jay. Let's see. Lori says from the fourth quarter of the 5-0 Paoli Rams football game. Got it. Glenda from Salt Lake, California. Kathy's here. Julie's from Waterford. Now my shirt turned gray. No. It's the same shirt. I didn't change shirts when I flipped the camera. Not sure. Let's see. Lynette says, good evening. Had to stop practicing my bass clarinet to tune in. Love that. Thank you. Lori says, can't hear all the bells ringing and the cheering, but you're reading messages. Very cool. Syracuse, Jones checking in. Marcia got over to Facebook. South Traverse City, Vicky's here. Portland, Joyce is here. Let's see. Debbie says, I've been binging on the podcast. Really helps you get your focus. Good. Glad. Deborah says, I was just looking for a new podcast. Well, here it is. In about 5 minutes, we'll record it. You can hear the whole thing. Paul says, you put a lot of weight back on yet. You still seem resilient. What's the secret? My secret is I'm happy living life and doing things I've never been able to do. Fitness wise, I'm in damn good shape. I'm happy with that. Mentally, I'm locked in and solid. And so, as I've said this on a previous episode, when I hit goal at like 100 and I forget now, 175, 178 pounds or something. Looking back, I had no muscle mass. I was just completely, scrawny. So I've been adding muscle mass back in. I'm in strength training now for 2 years consistently. So I certainly have added a ton of muscle back in. I've added some pizza in as well. And so I'm trying to balance the two. But the reality is I'm happy. And that's kind of really what I was shooting for all along, was to not be upset and not hate myself and not hate everything about me. So that part I've solved. So I consider that goal, and I'm still there, happy, rocking it, and loving it. So that's my secret, is to recognize how far I've come. Barbara, thank you. Let's see what else. Scrolling through. Hagerstown, Maryland. Ronalda, good evening to you. Lori is here. Webster, town of Webster, New York. Nancy's here. Good evening. Renee says, face-to-face Friday, Flex Friday, got it? Lee says, Mike, you're expecting a straight answer coming from Lee? Dream on. Doesn't happen. Denise from Chicago, and then Renee is here. I got you. Lee says the scale is the least important part of the journey. 100% agree. Canton, Missouri checks in. So let's go back to that. Lee, you're right. The scale is the least important part of the journey. It is a valid data point, but it's one data point. Let's just leave it at that. You can't completely ignore it, but you can understand it in relation to everything else that's going on. Tanny from Michigan, pretty good evening to you. Ramona from Ithaca, New York is here. Good evening. Got it. So Lori, see, I agree 100%, Lori. When I was in my 175, when I look at pictures back, I'm like, man, I just look like a kid, like a teenage boy in a sense, with like I had no arms, no muscle. None of these muscles were here. Kind of weird, but I developed muscle from here up into my shoulders, into my arms, that I'm thrilled with, completely thrilled with. And truly, yeah, could I take off about 5 pounds of pizza or so? Sure, and I'll do that at some point. I'll consider that my fighting weight, like a pro athlete does. I'm in my off season, but I'm happy and I'm enjoying the off season. So we'll get into training. I got a new watch coming in the mail. I can't wait to try. So very fun. So anyway, but for me, it's one of those. I'm completely happy and comfortable, and so that is for me to determine, and that's the goal, and that's what I was always shooting for. Was to be able at any moment get up and go run past my fitness test. I can do that. I can go for a 1.5 mile, 2 mile run right now if we had to. Would certainly, and I'd actually probably enjoy it. I've hit strength training. Haven't missed a strength training appointment in 2 years. So that's, to me, that's still goal. I'm content with all that. So let's see. Bev just got here. Heather checking in from Philly. Very cool. All right, give you a quick update. I probably work it in. Jan, yes, Weight Watchers does go by the scale for sure. So Denise, I got the Withings, and so long story short, there was Withings, and then Withings was bought by Nokia, and then Nokia turned into Nokia Health, and then Withings bought Nokia Health, or bought it back from Nokia Health. So the company is now called Withings. Same people for the most part the entire time, but this is the Steel HR, which is a fitness tracker, and they made a Steel HR Sport, which has paired, or what do they call it, connected GPS. So when I can use my phone to do my GPS run. So it gets here on Monday. So, trust me, I'll post all about it. So Cheryl said, yes, Santa for one. Yeah, I can't wait to get mine. I'm really excited about it. Let's see. Renee says, I'd love to do a 5K with you all. Well, we're going to go to DC next. So Pam is here from Traverse City. Good evening. Yeah, so the next race is DC, and I got some information tonight which helped me confirm that date. So the Food Nutrition Conference and Expo is in Washington, D.C., October 20th through the 23rd. I just got an email tonight saying I was confirmed as a presenter in the conference. So that's all over. I put it on Connect, I put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, so you can see that post after this. But it's basically, I was just, I'll be presenting, the topic we'll be presenting on is military crisis, and it's the link between obesity and national security. So I'll have an opportunity to present during that to about 10,000 dietitians, policy leaders, and experts in the field. So that'll be kind of intimidating, but super fun. But part of that is I'll be out in DC already, which I kind of knew I submitted the stuff to go there. I was just excited to see that I was actually selected. So I will certainly be in DC for the next 5K. So that email, I'll start making detailed plans now for those of you in the DC area. So Southern Maryland, good evening to you. Lisa's here. California's here. Kelly. Let's see. Debbie from Rockford, Illinois. Hoosier State. Sheila's here. Good evening. All right. Let's see. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Let's see. Come to McKinney, Texas for a walk around. I'm coming to Houston in January. I got that locked in today too. So things that I can confirm is DC. That's happening in October. Of course, we're going to get out to San Francisco in November. Not sure about December, but January will be in Houston. February will be in Atlanta. Can confirm those. May will be back in Tulsa. That's confirmed. Tampa will be August. We'll be out in Tampa. So those I can confirm. Everything else is still up in the air. Kathy, the conference is. Don't quote me on that. If you go to the Academy and Google FNCE 2018, you'll find the conference link. So it's Food Nutrition Conference and Expo. I think it's open to everybody. If Jeannie was here, I'd ask her. So just go to the website and you can register, I guess. That's my guess. So cool. All right, let's do this, shall we? I'm going to scroll through. Lisa says, I totally tuned out Mike for the last 5 minutes because I was reading comments. Well, thank you. You know what? And I don't care, right? If you're whatever you have to use to take care of yourself, I don't care. If you tune in and don't listen, perfect, because that means you found some other way to stay accountable, and it certainly works. Julie says, come back to Detroit in the snow. Not happening. Oh, that's funny. So cool. All right, let's do this, shall we? Episode 222 is what I have. 223 will be next. Right? Woohoo! That's funny. Repeat on dates and locations. It'll be on the website. Go to fatdag.com, click on the event calendar. Everything will be listed in there once it's confirmed. But Jason, good evening to you. But the gist is October 20th, I think it's the 20th, in Washington, D.C., November 10th in San Francisco, January 20th in Houston, February, I'm not sure, the last week in February or so in Atlanta, then Memorial Day weekend probably in Tulsa, and then Tampa 1 through 4 August. Those are the ones that I can confirm. And by confirm, it means I'm thinking of doing it. That's what confirm means. So it's about that. Those are the ones that I think I'm doing for sure. So we'll figure out what confirmed really means. So it looks like audio levels are good. So that's pretty good. Are you ready for some water? Water. Cheers. Bev says, I almost had chips today, but heard me saying, do you want chips or do you want goal? So you get the goal. All right, here we go. Let's get that recording. Cheers. Lisa Lynn says, let's see. She counts her trips to the gym like she counts the podcast episodes. So today was episode 183. I like it. I get it now. It took me a second to figure out what you were writing, but I get it. So that's a great strategy, right? So we'll do that. So from now on, maybe we'll start it. Should we start it in January or should we start now, at least? So I think if we start in January and we say episode 1 of gym, episode 2 of workout, episode 3, and see if we can get to 365 episodes in a year. So cool. Cheers. Woo. Yum. I don't know how I get the bottle of pop, but it just does. It just does. I don't know. All right, here we go. Episode 222. Let's see. I want to hit making notes here. All right, are you ready? Dina says, wow, I can click on see more and read all the comments. I couldn't. When I clicked on it, it didn't work for me. Kathy says, I like that you put the bottle pop on the podcast now. Yeah, I had to add, I recorded it, so I might as well add it, right? Joanne says, room 222, old time TV show. All right, let's do this. Episode 222. Yeah. I got to remember to quit reading your comments when it's time to go because some of you make me laugh and then I get distracted. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 222 of Wise Advice, and truly always an honor to be here with you. Hopefully you found this in the Wise Advice app in your app store. If you have, certainly leave a comment review in there. Always like to see those. If not, you can find it on iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, anywhere you can download a podcast. I don't care. I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for those tuning in live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Always fun to hang out with you before the show just for a little bit, and then we dive right into it. Quick update as to what's going on across podcast land here. So got an email tonight that I was accepted to be a presenter for the 2018 Food Nutrition Conference and Expo in Washington, D.C., October 20th through the 23rd. So that confirms that the international tour does roll in through Washington, D.C., so I get those details out to you really soon. You can certainly visit fatdag.com. Click on the event tab, register there, and you will get the email as soon as I know the full details of the actual run that morning. But I'm excited to talk about, the presentation that we submitted is labeled Military Crisis, and it's the link between obesity and national security. So I'll have an opportunity to present on a panel with some folks who all of us believe the same thing, that this is something we have to take care of in the military. And I'm certainly glad to be able to lead that charge in a sense where I speak from a place of experience. You guys know that. If you listen back to episode 182, I think 54, or episode 12, all of them detail the struggle I had as a military member, severely overweight, on the verge of being kicked out, and found a way to completely change my life using you guys as the community for support and inspiration. And then now we've turned it all around, and we're truly all just getting healthy, happy, and living the best versions of ourselves. And that's all I really want for anybody. So to be able to present to about 10,000 nutritionists, dietitians, policy leaders, it's going to be an amazing opportunity to tell that story, see what the reach is, and see if we can't finally put an end to this once and for all, and take care of it. So that's the update here. Always fun to check in with you. The next couple episodes, I'll warn you ahead of time. About a couple episodes ago, I asked you to go through the 5 questions of why. Why, help you find your why, help you develop it. Grab a pen, grab a paper, write it down. I asked you to do that, and so many of you sent in those. I want to do the next few episodes. I'm going to go through those one by one. Maybe they'll be, I haven't figured out a full game plan, but in essence, probably what I'll do is I'll probably break them up into smaller versions of the podcast, focus one-on-one, and work through some of those questions so you guys can hear that and hear some response and help you develop your own why. So if you haven't submitted yours, now would be the time to do that on air at fatdag.com. Certainly write in. That's what keeps this show going, is by you sharing and getting your story done. So thank you all for your continued support. Out of Scarborough, Maine, Rosie writes in to open the show. She says, "Dear Fat Dag, today is a special occasion for me. It's my 1-year anniversary enjoying Weight Watchers. It deserves a celebration, and you deserve my gratitude for all the help that you have given me. Well, yes, I know I am the one who must do the work, but all the inspiration and the encouragement is much appreciated. I certainly have never hung in there more than a few weeks. The first of my many times on Weight Watchers was so long ago that the requirements were liver once a week and no more than 2 eggs a week. Well, no wonder I hated it. But back then I only had 20 pounds to lose so I could tough it out. Unfortunately, with no sustainability. I was never successful in changing all of my unhealthy habits, and they would always promptly resurface the minute I reached a bump in the road. Comfort food was my solution to all of life's problems. Well, I'm 68 years old now, and last year I had ballooned up to 235 pounds on a 5'3" frame. The thought of all the weight I had to lose was daunting. Well, I was miserable and suffering significant leg and back pain, fatigue, sleep apnea. Of course, those are all good reasons to lose weight, but the biggest problem I had was that I could barely look at myself in the mirror. I tried my best to avoid it, but inevitably I would catch my reflection and be shocked at the sight. In addition, my ability to climb all the stairs in my big house and walk any distance was becoming challenging. Well, I finally reached the tipping point, and something had to change. As you so often suggest, I'd written down all of my whys, and it's a very long list. It's doubtful I could ever forget how unhappy I was, but I will keep the list as a reminder. I'm a food lover extraordinaire, and I have the time and the interest to prepare yummy things. Usually this gets me into trouble, but it's helping me this time around. I've received so many good ideas on Connect, and I feed off all the positive outlooks and the success that I read every day. Well, I'm not perfect, and I finally accepted that's okay. But I'm truly focused most days, and I have an excellent record of tracking every single thing that I eat. Obviously, I'm doing something right, because I've lost 58 pounds over the last year. I have 20 or 35 more to go. I really don't know for sure, but I'm 100% confident that I'm in it for the rest of my life. I love my meals, and I figured out how to still enjoy the foods that I cannot live without. Pizza and chocolate, for example. I just eat less and enjoy every last bite. Well, I could never do that before. I am motivated. Probably because of this good news. My pain is gone. The stairs are easy. I can walk for miles. My CPAP treatment for my sleep apnea is a thing of the past. And I love to shop in the regular clothing stores that I had to walk past when I was wearing a size 20. Life has been good to me, but of course, there have been a few rough times in the past year. I'm getting pretty good at keeping stress eating to a minimum and putting it right behind me. This is the key to my continued success. No slippery slope for me. I am finding healthier ways to deal with the stress, and I can forgive myself and start the next day on track. My Connect buddies and listening to your wonderful Wise Advice shows every single day have worked miracles to keep me focused and optimistic. I'm happily one of your patrons, and I wish you much success in whatever you decide to do in the future. You have already had a huge impact on so many, and I suspect you are just getting started. Thank you a million times over. Again, Rosie out of Scarborough, Maine. So, Rosie, thank you for your amazing email. I love emails like this when we completely turn ourselves around from this place of I can't do this to I'm going to do it. That's what you're doing, and that's what I'm asking all of you to do is, I tell you all the time, I believe in you. I 100% believe you can do this because I get so many people who start their email saying they don't believe it, and then they end the email saying I'm going to do it. I think there's two things you have to do in this journey, and you got to, exactly as you summed up in the last email, you got to stay focused and then remain optimistic. If you stay focused, you can get it done, and you remind yourself daily to get it done. But that optimism makes you want to keep doing that. I think that's why you've been so successful, is that you've turned the corner and you found a way to look at the bright side of everything. As you started out 68 years old, 235 on a 5'3" frame, I understand the thought of all that weight to lose is daunting. That's why we don't put the numbers out there in a sense where we say, why don't you just go lose all the weight and just be done with it. We want you to completely change your life. I want you to set small goals along the way. I want you to start off by losing 5 pounds. See if you can do that. See if you can follow the program. Just track just a little bit. If you can lose 5 pounds, then then just do that again. And do that again, do it again. And then next thing you know, you're up to 58 pounds in a year, which is an incredible rate of loss. I'm very, very happy for that because what you've now done is completely changed your life in a way where you understand in moderation pizza, chocolate can exist in your world, and you're getting it done. I truly, truly believe it's the optimism that does it. But one step further, it's that long list of awesome things that you wrote down and saying that you had all the pains that you had and the medication that your CPAP machine, all that stuff is gone. Being completely miserable with leg and back pain, fatigue, sleep apnea, all those things are there. And so I ask you to write them down because I do understand now that you do feel better and you are feeling better, and it's going to be very difficult to remember a day when those things were in a part of your life, but writing them down is a good reason to give a good opportunity to revisit them frequently and remind yourself that you are doing this. That's kind of the cool thing is you got to remember where you came from, and then remember who is the one that put in the effort, put in the work. That is you, and keeping that list as a reminder is way more powerful than going back and reliving it. Keep the positive outlooks coming. Keep reading success stories. Keep going to Connect. That's an ideal place to get that inspiration. Certainly the Wise Wingman Facebook group is another. The beauty of all those communities that are so positive is that when you see other people succeeding, when you see other people winning, you kind of get jealous, don't you? And that's a healthy jealous in a way where you're like, dang it, I want that. I want to go run. I want to go walk. I want to do whatever it is they're doing. I want to be thin. I want to buy normal clothes. And you watch other people do that, and you watch it enough, and finally you realize, which is the fun part, is when you watch them long enough, you realize that they're just regular people. And then when you realize that they're just regular people, you realize that they're no different than you. They're just maybe a little more focused, a little more optimistic, and that is what's getting them done. So congratulations on your 58-pound loss. 20 to 35 pounds to go. Who knows? You're going to know when you get there. You're going to wake up happy. You're going to wake up in this, I don't want to lose any more weight mindset. When you get there and then you bring that all that joy into your life and you maintain it about where you're at now, you will understand what I'm talking about when I say congratulations on getting to goal, and the scale will always be the last one to find out. So again, thanks for writing in. Scarborough, Maine, I know it very well. Used to live up in Lewiston, Auburn for a little while, and then lived in South Berwick as well. So Scarborough is right in between the both of those. So my hometown, it's kind of fun to reminisce a little bit. So thank you also for that. Out of West Warwick, Rhode Island, Sally writes in. She says, "Dear Mike, hey, I was honored by when you read my email on your podcast, episode number 72, about complacency. I know that was a while ago, but I just felt the need to reach out to you once again. I've been dealing with some health issues over the last several years, and I've lost myself and my focus. I joined Weight Watchers in 2010 at 5'4", 299 and a quarter pounds, after a doctor told me to change my lifestyle or I was likely to die at a young age. I had a number of health conditions caused partially by my weight, which had jumped 50 or so pounds in a year. Over the next 2 years, I lost 142 pounds. I became a strict follower of healthier eating habits and faithfully exercised every day for 1.5 to 2 hours every day after work. Well, fast forward to today. I sit at 15 pounds above my goal weight of 157. I have a teeter-tottered for the last several years, and after a back injury caused me to modify my activity choices and at times become almost bedridden. Well, yesterday I went for a walk and I listened to another one of your podcasts. During the podcast, an epiphany occurred in my brain. I all of a sudden realized that even though I was telling myself I was following the program, I had been so used to cutting a corner here and there that I've been kidding no one except myself. Yesterday I logged every bite. I drank 80 ounces of water and I stopped eating my evening snacks. I had 4 points left over at bedtime. Today I started another day mind-focused and determined to not let my physical challenges defeat me. I will succeed. I thank you all for and all the wingmen for helping me realize that the lie that I've really been telling myself. Thank you. Together we can do this. Sally out of West Warwick, Rhode Island. Sally, let's dig in. Episode 72 turned out to be one of those podcasts that I get emails on quite frequently. We certainly refer to it as the complacency episode. I need to go revisit it in a sense because I kind of forgot what I said, just as a mental reminder. But the essence and the gist is that sometimes plateaus and complacency sets in because we feel better. The goal was never really to feel better. The goal was to feel phenomenal. And phenomenal is a possibility, but sometimes we forget about that when we start feeling better. And the difficulty of pushing through better to get to phenomenal is sometimes a little difficult. And there are certainly plenty of distractions along the way. 142 pounds is an amazing success story. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've gained 15 of those pounds back. That still puts you well over 100 pounds lost. Clearly, you understand the big picture. Clearly, you have understood what it takes to get this done and why to get it done. You now are in a new chapter of your life where you're going to have to figure something else out. And again, I think this is another prime example of why I'm a believer that the journey does have finish lines. I believe it has multiple finish lines, and so maybe you've crossed another one, and now you're going to start a whole new chapter in your life, figuring out how to maintain in the new state and the new life that you're now living. That's kind of the new journey for you. And so when you get to the point where last several years having a severe back injury that actually forced you to modify your activity to almost the time where you were bedridden, so that certainly is a much different journey than probably when you were losing the weight. So let's call that done. Let's move on from that. And now let's make a new plan given the new set of circumstances that you've been handed. That's how you solve this. And so as you finally now are moving through this, getting up and going for a walk, that epiphany is kind of something I wish a lot of people could truly tap into and understand. Because so many times as people are tracking and doing the program and making, like you said, cutting a little corner here, cutting a corner there, mentally their brain says, well, I'm tracking everything and I'm getting some exercise. But in reality is, there is often a difference between someone on day one who's tracking and then someone who's on, year 5 who's tracking. So suddenly the 1 ounce, 1 ounce bag of potato chips becomes 1.5, 1.25. But we just kind of a little bit here, a little bit there. But the very first, when you joined, it was, you weighed it, and you measured it out, and you made sure it was exactly to the T, because you were motivated, super motivated, wanting to get it done. Well, you've proven by losing 142 pounds that you know how to get there. So what you have to do is just simply tap back into that mindset, understanding your why, exactly like and then realizing that your physical challenges absolutely do not defeat you, nor do they define you. I've said this more than once on this podcast, is regardless of what your medical diagnosis is, if you are still the one in control of your food, you can make better choices. That's something so often we forget about. We get these medical diagnoses and we think it's the end of the world in some sense. And we say, you know what, well then forget it, I'll just go on and just quit doing this. But you can still make better choices in every single possible scenario where you still are the one controlling your food. So as you understand that, then you certainly know that that physical challenge does not define you, nor does it defeat you. You certainly end your email the right way by saying you will succeed, and understanding that the lie that you've been telling yourself certainly is defeating, in a sense, and robbing you of the true joy of getting back to where you were the happiest, healthiest version of yourself. I thank you very much for your original email to get episode 72 started. Like I said, people refer to that all the time as the episode on complacency. Like I said, I will certainly go back and listen to it as well. So congratulations on all of your amazing success. I think it's very important that we don't lose sight of that. I think, I see often people on either in the Wingman group or in Connect, and they reach their goal. And so, and I'm certainly very proud of them for doing so, right? And so it's kind of my story, and what I'm living out right now is we push so hard to get the goal. And I encourage you to do that. I really do. I want you to push as hard as you can. I want you to get there. I want you to hit goal. I absolutely do. I want you to understand that you get to the point where you don't want to lose any more weight. I want that for you more than anything. And then I also want you to understand that when you get there, a 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 pound gain from there is not the end of the world. When you're down 142 pounds, you hit goal, you've proven mentally you can do anything. And then as you readjust into this new lifestyle, you pick up 5, 10 pounds along the way, you're still down hundreds of pounds and very, very successful. And more importantly, you have the mindset and confidence to know that you can do it. That's what getting goal is about. And getting to goal is more than just the number on the scale. Getting to goal is you proving you can do it. You proving that you could actually do it, meaning saying, hey, I set myself a goal, I marched towards it, I got it done. That is so powerful, because what happens from there is you set different goals. And as you set different goals, they may not all be health and fitness related, but having that confidence certainly gives you the strength to push forward and get it done. So thank you again, certainly for writing in, Sally, and keep up the amazing work. Keep in touch for sure. Last email for this show out of Naperville. Diane writes in, says, hi, Mike. This is Diane from Naperville. I'm writing in with another update. Well, I've written in 3 times before. My last one was at goal. It's now been 6 months on Team Lifetime, and I'm celebrating. What an amazing ride this has been so far. I've been trying to write a Lifetime update for a while now, but so many thoughts and emotions, they surface every time that I start. I've been at Lifetime since March 14th, 2018. I feel amazing and incredible. I'm down 155 pounds. That's 5 pounds below goal, and I'm still doing all the same things I was doing while losing weight. I'm measuring, tracking, and I'm setting attendance goals. I still go to my meeting every week and I weigh in. My meeting and its members keep me motivated and inspired. We're like a really big family. I'm also now wearing size 6s and smalls. When I started, I was a tight 22, 24, and 3X. I now have a healthy BMI of 23, and when I started, it was a 49. Thinking of that BMI at 49 brought back memories of my pre-Weight Watchers existence, something I haven't written too much about. Sometimes I wonder how I survived at all. The constant years of gaining and losing and gaining again. I guess that's all I did was survive or exist. I kind of lived in my own little bubble. I shut the world out. I let my weight define me. I never finished college, never had a real career. I always worked. Most of the time I had 2 jobs. I never got married, never had kids. I just let life pass me by. So that brings me to my why. It's short and simple, but it's oh so powerful to me. It is to not let life pass me by. The best way I know how to do this is by staying out of my comfort zone, my bubble, that it is so easy for me to run to when something is new or unfamiliar. I now ask myself 2 questions. Well, why can't I, and why not me? Staying out of that comfort zone has been so rewarding so far. These are just a few examples. The Slack Pack family of friends, without their inspiration and support, I don't think I ever would have gotten as far as I did. I'm a guest blogger on fatdag.com, which is so cool. I've done 5 blogs so far. I am so honored to be a board member of Operation Fat Dag. I believe it's for such a great cause. I'm so excited to wait to see where this all will lead. Hiking, whitewater rafting, and ziplining are just a few things I did on my vacation this year. I became a participant instead of standing on the sidelines. I've also driven by myself further than I've ever have on 2 occasions. One time to Michigan for a weekend, and then I drove to Indy, which was 3.5 hours. It's the longest driving distance ever. Last but not least, I entered the Indy Ultimate. I finished the 5-mile walk run. I walked it and I received my first medal ever. I even did some of the events that were along the way, like throwing the football, kicking the soccer ball, and paddle boats, to name just a few. To top it all off, I got interviewed by you. Even though I definitely am not a public speaker, it was awesome. Thank you. I do think, though, that I'm finally finding my voice. With all these accomplishments, I guess not only am I celebrating a lifetime, but I'm celebrating life. As I am pushing towards a new decade next year, I'm excited about what the future holds instead of being depressed about another year passing me by. I always thought it was too late or I was too old to start this journey. Well, I'm telling you that you're never too old, and it's definitely not too late to do this. Just never give up and never quit. It may have taken me 4 years to get here, but it's so worth it. Like I've said before, I got a 4-year food education, but I'm still learning, so I really guess I'm going for my master's. I'm still a work in progress. I still have issues I'm working on, like forgiving myself for my past so I don't keep dwelling on it. Or the fact that I can't run. I know with all my walking, my dance classes, and now added yoga and strength training to the mix should be enough, but I feel like I failed because I can't run. I've tried numerous times with the same results. The next day I feel awful. So I'm trying to accept that, knowing that if it takes me away from my attendance goals, I shouldn't do it. Also, a few bad habits have been creeping up, like my under-eating and my non-eating issues. Well, thank you again, Mike, for your service. Also for everything you do for us, this community. Thank you for believing in me and helping me change my life. Thanks for the podcast. They've been a real game changer for me. And thanks to all the wingmen for their support and inspiration. And thank you for being my wingman. Diane. Diane, you're one of those people that just absolutely is awesome. Every time I see you, we joked on the podcast that you and I are no longer allowed to be in the same city because you bring extreme weather wherever you go. But that's just my fun way of letting you know that I enjoy being in your presence, and you're an incredible inspiration. 155 pounds down, you look fantastic. Your attitude, your smile is so contagious. Every time, I just watch you glow, and I can tell without even reading this email, I can tell that you are not letting life pass you by anymore. You are out there leading the charge of happiness. And, I suspect you're probably making up for many lost years in that sense, but I think you're doing it very, very well. And I didn't get the full extent until I read your email tonight when you said that you drove to Indy. And I remember you saying that it was a far drive and it was the furthest you'd ever driven, but I didn't truly understand when you said it's the furthest you ever driven. I didn't really understand the why behind that. So I'm honored truly to think that the first time that you would venture out on your own for a 3.5-hour road trip would be to come to the Indy Ultimate to hang out with us and the wingman and to get it done and then top it off with a 5-mile walk. What an amazing story of triumph and success that is. You absolutely hit the nail on the head, and I love this sentence, and I want to I want to yell it 18,000 times that with all the accomplishments, I guess I'm not celebrating lifetime, I'm celebrating life. Boy, think of that, right? Lifetime is a title. Celebrating lifetime is a title. You're celebrating life, completely different. Man, it just when I read that in your email, it really did get to me in a sense where I truly understood your entire journey from start to now. It made perfect sense. All the amazing things that you've written in. Being a guest blogger certainly takes you out of your comfort zone. Joining the board of Operation Fat Dag, as you know, we are marching forward very fast with that. A lot of it is behind the scenes, but we have some big plans. We have some great partners coming on board. As you know, I'm traveling up to DC to talk in front of a large group of nutritionists. I just mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. So that is, your help is significantly needed, and you're going to need. We're going to need you to continue to stay engaged so that other people understand that we can all celebrate life at this point. And you've gotten to the point where thinking all of the your pre-existence or pre-Weight Watchers existence of your BMI of 49 and wondering how you survived it in the constant years of gaining and losing and really just living in your own little bubble. I think that is so common for so many of us. That's the story that we need. That's what we need on the board. That's what we need in this community. Is someone who was in that fog, who was in that dark, who said, no more. There's something more. There is something else out there, and I want to go do it. You've been hiking, whitewater rafting, zip lining. Think of that. You're not just standing on the sideline. You are out there getting it done. I think the icing on the cake certainly is getting your first ever race medal, doing it with the Wise Wingman group, all of us out there. It's just a fun. If you started now, which you obviously have, if you wrote down all the amazing accomplishments you've done just in the last year, it's incredible. And it's all things that you have done because you have completely changed your life. Well, sure, you've done the remarkable. You've done things that so few of us are able to finally push all the way through and do. You've proven that it actually is possible for anyone to do it. And you went through one step further and did it. Now you're sharing your story so that somebody else goes, hey, I can do that too. Incredible job, incredible focus. Thanks for keeping it all up. And so I just want to say, do not, as you add to the list of all the things that you're doing, your dance classes, the yoga, strength training, all of that, don't focus on the things you're not doing. You're not going that direction. Continue to add to your list. Don't look at the things of, I wish that I could. Continue in your lane. Your lane clearly is the path to lifetime. It clearly is the path to a new life. That's the lane you want to stay in. And so whether you can run or not, truly irrelevant at this stage in your life. All the other things, the joy you bring to every room that you enter, that's where the true success is. So Diane, thanks again for joining us in Indy. Thanks for joining the board, Operation Fat Dag. Thanks for writing in on the blog. Folks, you can check those out at fatdag.com. Certainly get out there and do that. And always encourage you to send your comments, questions into the show so that we can truly celebrate just like Diane is. Congratulations, 6 months at Lifetime. Absolutely rocking it, getting it done. I believe you're in it for the rest of your life. And that is why we celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast link. You can send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll certainly work them in as part of the show. I really want you to email in those celebrations because I want you to be absolutely proud of what you're doing. When you're proud of what you're doing and you share what you're doing, other people begin to understand that this journey is doable and they start writing their own journey as well. That's what changes the world. What changes the world is when you change yourself and you tell other people how awesome it is and they become inspired or jealous of your success, which is called inspiration, and they reach out and start getting it done as well. That goes all across the nation, all across the world. Other people want to have the success, the happy, healthy life that you're living. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you good focus. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Episode 222 done. Isn't Diane's email awesome? I thought it was. I thought she's super awesome. And I'm telling you, I mean, you guys know, I've met her twice now, and she's super duper awesome. But what's cool is I think everyone I've met is awesome. So that's, not to not give her the props she deserves, but it's just, people are different when they're happy. It's kind of fun, when someone finally likes who they are, they like who they've become, they're more fun to hang around with. And that's kind of the plan, is we want to hang around with fun, happy people, right? I mean, if I opened this show and said, I'm your host, Fat Dag, today sucks, you wouldn't want to tune in, you'd be miserable. But instead I tell you how awesome the day is, and you're like, oh, I want to have an awesome day too. And that pushes you forward to go get it done. So very, very, very cool. So let's see. So at that point, where we at? We are at 51 minutes and rolling. So, I don't have a ton prepared for the after show. So we'll hang out for just a minute and catching up with whatever you want to catch up with. And then I'll certainly release this, get it into the app so that you can certainly get it first thing in the morning. Franny says it's a beautiful sunset tonight out in Washington. Thanks for the walk. You're welcome. Thanks for taking me with you. That's always my goal, is that, I tell you, I don't know if you guys saw the post I put earlier on Facebook. So I'll be off Monday again, Mondag we call it. And I have I forget what it was now, 5 or 6 phone appointments lined up back to back to back to back to back. We're making some fun progress, but woo! So any chance I get to go for a walk with you guys, it's certainly fun. But I would love to get to the point where we're recording this this podcast every single day. We started out that way, and now we've become more of a community, so it's a little more difficult to do them. I just can't pop in here for 5 minutes. I want to say hi to all of you. So I don't think I wasn't doing them live, and that of course adds a component to it. So, but I promise you, when we get to the point where I'm out of the military, retired from the military, maybe even long before then, this is the priority, because this is what's working. This is what's working for me. This is what's working for you. This is what's reminding you the journey's worth it, is this little community. So it's just too much fun, and it's just too important to do that. So Melody says, see, I still can't do the see more thing. Melody says, can't wait for this to get posted so you can listen to Diane's email again. Yeah, Diane's email is awesome. Isn't that cool? Let's see. Denise says, inspired some kids on my swim team. They ended up swimming laps with me. That's so fun. So fun. Very cool. So, all right, let's do it. Let's wrap this up. It's Friday night. You guys have better things to do than hanging out here. So let's do that. Yeah, I know you guys can see. Let's see. Maybe I'll reboot my iPad, upgrade to iOS 12. Maybe that'll help. So, but right now I can't do it. But, so cool. Jamie says, that's awesome. I need more podcasts. Let's do it. Started at 200 and finally made my way back to number 1. Woohoo! Very fun. So, all right. So here, go do something exciting. Really, it's Friday night, right? Go do something exciting. Go do something fun. I'll get this released. Diane's here. Yeah, I didn't send an email out, Diane. Diane, I read your email. So are you just now getting here? Yeah. So for those of you who are just now getting here, Diane is here. So you can say hi to her as we sign off. But yes, your email was on. But you can go back and read all the comments, right? So cool. Yeah, so anyway, let's wrap it up. Thank you again for being here. Go do something fun. Go drink some water, get some rest, whatever you consider fun, get it done and go do it. And thank you always for being here. We'll sign off on YouTube first. YouTube, thank you for being here. good night, and I wish you good focus. And then we'll do boom on that.